My grandmother had one rule. Just one. And she repeated it so often that everyone in the family could recite it from memory. Never open the suitcase in the attic. As a child, I thought she was joking. Every old house has a mysterious object hidden somewhere. Ours happened to be a faded brown suitcase covered in dust. Whenever I visited Grandma's house, would sneak upstairs and stare at it from across the attic. It sat in the far corner beneath a small window. Locked. Silent. Waiting. What's inside? I once asked. Grandma's smile disappeared. Something that belongs to the past, she answered. Then why keep it? Because some stories should never be forgotten. I wanted to ask more questions, but she changed the subject. Every single time. Years passed. I grew up. Life became busy. College, work, relationships, bills. The suitcase became just another childhood mystery. Then Grandma died. She was 91 years old. The funeral was beautiful. People came from all over the country to say goodbye. Everyone spoke about her kindness. Her strength. Her generosity. But nobody mentioned the suitcase. A few weeks later, my mother and I returned to the old house to sort through Grandma's belongings. The house felt strangely empty. Like it was holding its breath. Room by room, we packed photographs, books, clothes, and family heirlooms. Then I remembered the attic. The suitcase. For the first time in my life, there was nobody left to stop me. I climbed the stairs slowly. The wooden steps creaked beneath my feet. The attic looked exactly the same. Dust floated through the sunlight. And there it was. The suitcase. Waiting. My heart started racing. I don't know why. It was only an old suitcase. Yet standing in front of it felt like standing in front of a door. A door that had been locked my entire life. I knelt beside it. The lock was old and rusted. Surprisingly, it wasn't even secured anymore. With one gentle pull, it opened. I froze. Inside were dozens of envelopes tied together with a blue ribbon. Black and white photographs. A small journal. And a silver pocket watch. Nothing dangerous. Nothing supernatural. Just memories. At least that's what I thought. The first photograph showed a young woman. It took me several seconds to realize it was Grandma. She couldn't have been older than 20. Standing beside her was a man I had never seen before. He was handsome. Smiling. His arm wrapped around her shoulders. On the back of the photo were 4 words. My forever, Daniel. Daniel? Who was Daniel? Grandpa's name wasn't Daniel. I turned over more photographs. The same man appeared again and again. Picnics. Train stations. A beach. A wedding photograph. My stomach tightened. Wedding? That couldn't be right. Grandma had only ever been married to Grandpa. At least that's what everyone believed. I opened the journal. The first page was dated May 12, 1956. The handwriting belonged to Grandma. I began reading. And within minutes, everything I thought I knew about my family changed. According to the journal, Daniel had been her first husband. Not Grandpa. Daniel. They had fallen in love young. Married quickly. Planned a future together. Then tragedy struck. Daniel was drafted into military service. Before leaving, he gave Grandma the silver pocket watch. A promise that he would return. For months they exchanged letters. Every page of the journal overflowed with love. Hope. Dreams. Then the letters suddenly stopped. Weeks passed. Then months. Finally, military officials informed her that Daniel was missing and presumed dead. The journal pages became darker after that, filled with grief, loneliness, heartbreak. Years later, she met my grandfather, a kind man who helped her rebuild her life. They married, had children, built the family I knew. The story should have ended there. But it didn't. At the bottom of the suitcase lay a final envelope. Unlike the others, it was unopened. My name wasn't on it. Neither was Grandma's. Only one word. Important. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was a letter dated 1983. The sender's name made my heart stop. Daniel. I read it twice. Then 3 times. Unable to believe what I was seeing. Daniel hadn't died. He had survived. After years in captivity overseas, he had finally returned home. And he had spent decades searching for Grandma. The letter explained everything. By the time he found her, she was already married with children. He didn't want to destroy her new life. So he stayed away. The letter ended with a simple sentence. If you're happy, that is enough for me. I sat there in complete silence. For nearly an hour. The man Grandma spent her entire life mourning had actually survived. And she knew. Because attached to the letter was her response. The envelope had never been mailed. Instead, she had kept it. Hidden. For over 40 years. I unfolded the paper carefully. The handwriting was shaky. Emotional. Daniel, every day I wondered what happened to you. Every birthday. Every Christmas. Every year. I prayed for answers. Now I finally have them. But life has carried us in different directions. I love my husband. I love my children. And yet a part of my heart will always belong to the young man who gave me a silver watch and promised to come home. I forgive the years. I forgive fate. I forgive the silence. And I hope you found peace. Love always, Margaret. My grandmother never sent the letter. Maybe she didn't know where Daniel lived. Maybe she was afraid. Or maybe writing it was enough. I carefully folded it back into the envelope. Suddenly, I understood why she kept the suitcase. It wasn't about secrets. It wasn't about shame. It wasn't about hiding the truth. It was about preserving a chapter of her life that nobody else knew. A love story interrupted by history. A reminder that life doesn't always follow the path we expect. Before leaving the attic, I checked the pocket watch one final time. There was an engraving on the inside cover. Something I hadn't noticed before. It read, "For Margaret. No matter how long it takes." I couldn't stop crying. Not because the story was sad. But because it was beautiful. My grandmother had lived a full life. A happy life. Yet she had carried this hidden story in her heart until the very end. That evening, I showed the journal and letters to my mother. She sat quietly for a long time. Then she smiled. "You know," she said softly, "Grandma always stared out the window every evening at exactly 6 o'clock. Why?" My mother shrugged. Maybe she was remembering. The suitcase now sits in my own attic. Not hidden. Not locked. Just preserved. A reminder that every person carries stories we never fully know. Stories of love. Loss. Hope. And second chances. And sometimes, the greatest mysteries aren't buried treasure or ancient secrets. Sometimes they're simply the lives of the people we thought we already understood. The end.